Evening. It is Wednesday, March 6th at 6 o'clock p.m. This is the Historic and Architectural Review Board meeting, and I'm starting the meeting now. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So our first order of business tonight is to elect our chair and our vice chair. However, we do not have a full board. So would we like to motion to postpone that until the next meeting?
I motion to do that.
You have a second? Okay. All those in favor? Or do you have something to say?
Is there a choice?
Well,
If we don't have a quorum, put differently.
We do have a
is there
quorum.
choice? We do have a quorum?
yeah, three
Well,
is.
I'd rather do it now than, and make you all stay. Seriously, what would you prefer? I'm asking everybody.
All right, so I had a first and I had a second. So let's take that vote again. All those in favor of electing the chair and vice chair at the next meeting? For now, we'll just continue with the positions as they stand.
Definitely, don't leave our-
All those in favor? All right, all are in favor, so we'll work on that next meeting. We have one order of business, one order of new business, which is HARB application 2019-01, first of the year. This is 406 Woodland Avenue. Looks like we are talking about enlarging a two-car detached garage. If you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about the project. From the point of view of HARB, so we're concerned about what you can see from public rights of way.
Right. Good evening. I'm Cam Lacey from DCL Architects. I'm representing Ed Babin's property. He's here tonight. I'll just give you a quick view of what this property looks like. This is the main house from the street. It's a gabled inn from about 1889 or late 1800s. This is a project that came before the board 2 years ago. I'm not sure if any of you were there for that, but this is phase 10 or something we're doing, and now we're going to try to figure out enlarging this garage. This picture here, you can just see down the driveway the face of the existing garage, and it's about a 20 by 21 foot structure that was built kind of to house a smaller kind of a vehicle in that day. It was built a little later than this house, probably 1912 to 20, somewhere in there. And it's not in great shape. So there's two things. They want to actually use it as a garage. Ed is also a woodworker. He wants to put a shop in the second level, which is a half level. And he also likes to get out of his car when he gets in the garage. So those are things that sort of drove what we're trying to do. We'll go to the site plan. I have a little handheld thing. Do you have that one? Yeah. Okay. Here's Woodland Avenue. Here's the main house. That's that view you're seeing looking down the driveway. This red dotted line is the existing garage footprint. And then what we're trying to do is maintain this corner of the garage and just build this dark area that's an addition to it, so you can see the expansion of it. And then we're going to get rid of some of the asphalt and do a pervious paver system, so he can actually, there's a kind of a a loading door on this end to load materials to the second floor. So this will all be grass, but drivable. So the existing driveway will remain, and we'll add this piece in. So this piece here, the main thing I was trying to do from a standpoint of how, we're enlarging this, but you sort of want to see a similar view as you look down the driveway and a similar scale. I don't know if you guys have any questions about the other pictures, but this is the garage proper. And you can see how a car doesn't quite fit in there. Here's the side elevation. One of the things we're going to do is when we take this apart, we're going to reuse windows, and Ed's really good at taking original framing members and planing them and reusing them and repurposing things. And that could be in finishes or, just for other projects. So, this thing will have another day and another life. The properties around here, it's all pretty consistent. House across the street, detached garage in the rear, house on the corner, detached garage. This is the rear of the main house. As you're looking from the garage, and then you can kind of see the relationship between the garage and the main house. We didn't want to bring anything further closer to the main house. We want to maintain that distance. All right. So we'll get into the elevations. So this is the front facade that you'll see as you're looking down the driveway, and you can see this red outline is the existing garage, and so we're trying to maintain that kind of a feel, and that we're getting a little bit bigger, but the scale of it's not that much bigger than what was there, but we're going to 9-foot doors and a little more space to be able to get in and out, and so this is also a cross-gabled. The gabled in is a cross-gabled construction, so we're trying to kind of mimic that a little bit with this main gable out front and a cross gable going perpendicular. And then to get a stair and things to go up, we scale down everything and come in and go up, and then this is the kind of the loading area. So that's sort of garage, and the reason for this is to get upstairs. So that's the reason for this thing getting a little longer. The rear elevation, no one ever sees, and you will never see this elevation. This one you will see from the neighbor next door, and this is the loading area. So there's two gables, the smaller one and the large main one, and then the one that, and actually then the cross gable that comes forward. So we're going from an all cedar shake siding from the original building to a mix of what's on the main house. We're bringing it up a little bit in level of finish. So we're going to have a stone base on the front that matches what's on the house with a band across that to cap it. And then we'll have the 3-inch exposure. I say 4-inch, but it's actually going to be 3-inch exposure siding with corner boards. That's the first floor. And then the second floor gable ends, and the main gable will go back to shingle. And then the roof material will be the shingling that matches the main house. And then we're just going to put a little copper piece over this porch area. All the materials are hardy plank, siding, shingles, AZAC, trim boards. Windows, we've got some windows from the existing house that have been saved. They're the weights, double hung kind of windows. We're going to try to reuse them in this if we can. And the 2 windows I showed you. So we're going to try to incorporate that into this design as well. Since this isn't a year-round habitation, it's not as critical to have new windows. But if we replace them, it'll be what we've talked about, the Anderson 400 series. So it becomes a building that can be used for 2 cars. He can work on cars, he can get out of his car, and also use a second level that's not a full level, but enough to have a full shop up there to do the things he likes to do. And, you know, we're really just keeping it exactly where it is. We have more room, but from the zoning standpoint, to go towards the rear of the yard and towards the center of the yard. And so we're doing that to keep it where it is, that front face. So that's how it sort of lays out. So it maintains its front gable appeal and view that it used to have, and then it's a little bigger as you go behind it, and then it stays as an accessory building. So those are the things that were important to us, is to keep that's the fabric of the neighborhood. It's all houses and accessories. So we're keeping that. So that's pretty much it. It's good to see you all.
Well, thank you for presenting to us. I know before the meeting we shared a couple of things about the basic history there. And Radnor Historical Society's database puts the house at about 1889 to 1890. So in general, when that part of Wayne was being developed. Also, too, on a map, I think the earliest map that I went into was a map from 1892, and there was no outbuildings back there. So, and then on another map, so I went to like 1908, you know, probably the latest before the automobile age, and the 1908 map did not have an outbuilding back there. So there was nothing back there since the house was built. When I did a survey just on that immediate block of the other houses and what they do have, this is what I've found. There are at least 3 with 2-car garage, and 1 has a second story. So what you are proposing, that would fit as far as adding another story. So there is 1 there that has a second story. As far as 0-car garages, there's about 3. And as far as 1-car garages, there's 2, but 1 has a loft above. And it's interesting, as I was sharing with them before the meeting, that at least with that outbuilding, it might not be original, but at the time when these houses were built up in Wayne, there was an outbuilding in that spot on the earliest map of like 1889, which I thought was kind of interesting, and it was labeled as stable. So whatever's back there now is kind of like resembling a stable, but it's really small. They're all my comments. As far as, you know, what you're proposing in design, I think it matches what we're looking for in our guidelines. But as far as any precedent, you know, there is a 2-car garage there that has that second story. So in case anybody had any concerns, there is 1 there already. And whatever they're using it for, I don't know, but it's quite clear. Thank you.
Thanks.
I would just like to point out that it looks like you're copying the front of the house with some of the details and the, I don't know the word for it, but the along the roof line, the A-line roof. And it looks like you're copying some of those details onto the garage so that it looks like it's supposed to be there. And in terms of scale, you are putting the additional roof line on, but I think from the driveway perspective, you're going to see a little bit more roof, but not a lot. So I do appreciate that you kind of kept the design similar, even though you are adding enough space to use or utilize better the second story. But I don't have any questions. Is there any other questions?
No, I just have a pointer. It was recently given to me as a gift in case there's any need going forward. I just thought I'd bring it out, and it's a nice, lovely green. So, for what it's worth, I thought it'd be kind of nice, and she did too, by the way.
So at this point, I open it up for any questions in the audience, which I don't know that we have anyone except for possibly the homeowner. So if you have any comments, you're welcome to make them.
Right?
At this time, Leah, do you have any comments, Terry?
of our board, and we'd love to have you right back here the minute you can give up some time, but it was very well presented. And
Thank you. Thank
very well done.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I motion to recommend a certificate of appropriateness. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? 3 in favor. We recommend your certificate of appropriateness and wish you good luck on your project.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was going to recommend it only if you agreed to come back.
You've always been tough.
Oh, I didn't pay him enough for that one, believe you me.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
That's where this guy comes from.
So the next order of business is old business, which is report on the new HARB ordinance. I don't know if we have any updates.
Last I knew is that Sarah was working on that, but she's not here today, so hopefully for the next meeting, she'll be able to fill us in. I do have some old business that I'd just like to share with you all on outbuildings. I just came across this. It's from the Chestnut Hill Conservancy and Historical Society November newsletter. And one thing I thought was interesting, wish I could have bid on it, but that couldn't have happened. They had this fundraiser, and they note this fundraiser in the newsletter, and one of the things that you could bid on was an exclusive tour of the Erdenheim farm for 6 adults. And they have a gorgeous picture here of this gorgeous critter. But it also notes that the tour will include a look inside the 100-year-old sheep barn designed by architect Horace Trumbauer. Well, Mr. Trumbauer is a noted architect. I know we've had this come up before in our early days with a house that was designed by him, and then they had an outbuilding, et cetera. But I thought it was really interesting to find at least something is out there in the local area that is an outbuilding that was designed by a noted architect. This is the first I've ever seen so far. I would love to see it, but I know that it's a private farm and you have to be invited. But if there's one, maybe there's others. Just something I'd like to share
Trumbauer
with our
did a
board.
lot of work, I think, up there.
Who?
Horace Trumbauer?
Yeah. But it's interesting that, he built this specifically, as an outbuilding to house sheep. Thanks.
No, love the fun facts. All right, at this point in time, is there any other old or new business that anyone wants to bring to the table? All right, I would like to announce, I would open it to the public, but there is no public here. I would like to announce that the next HARB meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 3rd, same time, 6 o'clock. And at this time, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.